And welcome back to the Formula E Accelerate Championship for 2023 here at the London Excel Arena. Of course, following the real-life Formula E action this weekend, we've got 11 of the best esports drivers in the world. They've qualified themselves for this race, and of course we're about to see what is going to happen. My name is Cameron Roger. I've got Zach Sweeney alongside me, and Zach, it should be a really exciting afternoon of racing.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, again, we're in front of a massive crowd here in London. We've got, we're 11 of sim racing's absolute finest. They've fought so incredibly hard to get here, and well, Cam, we've got two amazing races in store for us today.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to have a charge race, which is a sprint race with a reverse grid from the qualifying that we're about to show you, and then we'll have the full feature length race, a full simulated race around here in London, and there of course there's going to be a little bit longer, maybe a little bit of energy management coming into it, tyre management as well, and that is of course going to be where the driver's going to be earning their money. Let's take you into qualifying actually straight away, because the drivers are already going through. There's been a group qualifying. The top 8 have worked their way through to the bracket system, so there's going to be 4 quarters, then semi and a final in a bracket system. And of course, Zach, that adds a little bit of extra difficulty, because it's not just one lap you have to do about 4 laps to get pole position.
Absolutely, it's such a difficult format, and it's why I love Formula E so much, because yes, in Formula 1 you've got Q1, Q2, Q3, so you have got to do more laps. But head-to-head, that pressure, that one single lap that you've got to beat your rival, it just adds that pressure. It means that you do have to kind of be consistent in qualifying a sort of thing. You've still got to rise to the occasion on more than one occasion. And a circuit as difficult as the LondonEPrix circuit, it's not that easy.
Yeah, and of course with the duels, because you're only fighting against one person, it doesn't matter how fast your lap time is. However, if you do get knocked out, your lap time is then locked in for your grid position. So when we see these duels, of course, you're going to be going as fast as you can. But remember, whoever wins, their lap time, it counts in terms of going through, but it doesn't count in terms of their grid position. So that's what we're looking out for. And your charge race is the top 8 that's going to be reversed as well. So maybe being knocked out in that first quarterfinal might not be a bad thing, Zach.
No, it's not going to be the be-all and end-all. I think you can still definitely do well, but it does put a lot of stress to actually initially get into the duel phase. So over the last couple of minutes, the drivers have done their initial qualifying. Usually it's 2 groups, but it's just the top 8 of one group. So you need to get into that top 8. Yes, there's only 11, but that still means 3 people are going to be missing out. So you have to make sure you are into that bracket system. You have to make sure you are going forward, and you have to make sure that you deliver. But then again, you might still be able to see some glory. However, the charge race is not 4 points. It's half of what the full-length feature is. So it is going to be better to get that pole position.
Yeah, so we're talking the normal FIA format, so 25, 18, 15, 12, 10, 8, 6, 4, 2, 1. But of course, it is then going to be double points for the main race, I should say, basically half points as such for the charge. So let's actually get the drivers on the screen here.
Now into the next group, Risto, Kappet for Neo, and well, let's see if he can get himself into the semis.
Yeah, Risto, of course, driving for RHG Esports today, representing the Neo 333 Formula E team, coming out through this first sector. This is, I would say, the tight and twisty part of the lap. That first bit inside the arena coming out now, then this way you start to open up, and this makes it so difficult. You can see there, though, sliding the rear end there, and not having the best time. Then coming into the head, but of course what you might notice, oh, that's way too much. He's over-rotated, he's lost the front wing. Oh, this is not the way that Risto would have wanted. You see that he tried to get the slide coming into the hairpin, just overdid it, and he's going to be really struggling now coming to the end of this lap.
Absolutely. Of course, he's going to be hoping that his rival is slightly off the pace, because again, it only matters if you beat your rival. You could be doing a 2-minute 30 lap time. As long as it's quicker, that's wide as well into the hairpin at the back end of the circuit, turn 16. Not a great lap for Risto Kappet. He's been one of the most efficient drivers in practice, sprinting from the canteen back from lunch to get back to the rig, tapping road check across the line, a 19.8. It's not the quickest, but I'm sure it's going to be quicker than this.
Yeah, let's see. Risto Kappet, of course, with losing that front wing, he's going to have no front downforce coming to the end of the line, and this is going to be an important one. It's going to be 21.3, and unfortunately, Risto Kappet is going to be knocked out. So that is not ideal for him. So he's going to have to Kappet actually with a slow lap time. He might end up with that 8th place position, being the slowest of the drivers to be knocked. So everyone who gets knocked out in the quarterfinals, these will get the grid for 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th place. And of course he goes in lap time. So maybe with Kappet having a slow time there, that might give him pole for the charge race, and that might actually benefit him sort of later on today.
Yeah, so we've just been through qualifying. Of course, they've done their initial stage, then the duels, but now we flip that on its head. Those that made it through to the quarterfinals, 8th starts first, 7th second, etc., etc., etc. 10 laps of racing action, and now the top 5 get points as well. So it's 25, 18, 15, 12, 10, and that's it.
So here's your 10-lap charge race here for Formula E Accelerate 2023. We've got 10 grand on the line. Let's see what happens. Kappet away from pole position. He gets an awesome launch. Bianca Lilla from second place is going to have to try and cover off. Petter Berlag trying to cover all the way around the outside. Bit of contact between the two. Coming through that first chicane in towards turn 3 now. Bianca Lilla's held on.
He has a fantastic start from Risto Kappet, though a very poor qualifying, but he's making the most of the initial moments here in the start of the charge race.
And as it stands, Risto Kappet is going to be getting the first 25 points. Just got half a lap to go to hold on to this one. He's been very controlled at the front actually. We haven't seen him make any sort of mistakes. And even for Bianca Lilla, they've managed to pull away nicely from the guys behind.
They have. Unfortunately for Bianca Lilla, he's not quite been able to get onto the back of Kappet. They've sort of reached this awkward stalemate between the two of them. But Kappet, Bianca Lilla both kept themselves composed. Both have hit their marks really, really nicely. And now into the final sector. Lucas Müller, biggest gainer of this race, up 3 places from where he started. That is a massive, massive gains. We talk about how difficult it is to overtake, but if you're clever about it, like Lucas Müller has been, he's now making the most of his points. So he's in a decent position for the main race, 12 points for the charge as well, and now into the penultimate corner, here comes Risto Kappet.
And the charge race is going to be won by Neo 333's Risto Kappet across the line, celebrating his way to 25 points and the first victory of the afternoon. Not the best qualifying, but of course that put him on pole position, and he just led the way absolutely comfortably. Scott is with Risto.
Risto, that looked very easy, was it?
Oh yeah, it was so easy, you can't believe it. No, it wasn't.
A very controlled performance there, but how did it feel from the cockpit?
Oh man, first of all, I'm so lucky to get this reverse grid pole. I mean, I didn't put it in the wall on purpose in the qualifying, it just happened, but yeah, I got lucky. The guys behind started fighting. My race pace is not that good, and to get these 25 points from this race, it's amazing. It's more than I hoped to get from the whole event, so I'm really happy. And now it means I can take it quite easy in the second race. I can see as the guys ahead take themselves out, and I have actually a really good chance, so I'm so happy. And it's so easy to put it in the wall here, even if you're alone without pressure. The corners are kind of edged so that you can get stuck there and just crash out, so it's always so tense, but I'm so happy, I'm so relieved.
Well, you made that race look so easy. What was your focus from the cockpit?
I mean, just every upcoming corner, one by one. I didn't really have a flow. I could hear what the commentators are saying. You can see what others are doing. There's nowhere to hide here. You can't really get in a flow, but you remember your braking points, you know where you are, and it just worked out for me this time, so yeah.
Fantastic, congratulations, and now on to the main race. So we're just going to head to a quick break before we do start that main race. So welcome back everyone. We've just seen a fascinating charge race. Congrats again to Risto Kappet, but now it's time for the main race and time to see who takes home today's prize. So let's get back into the action and head over to Cam and Zach.
Yeah, that was certainly a bit of an interesting race actually. Obviously Kappet wasn't quite expecting to take that race victory, but he'll now go back to 8th position, and of course we'll see David Mocek go back to pole position as we have this next race is from the qualifying order, so that's going to change things around. A little bit concerned about how this is going to go, but actually the lights have come on and your Formula E Accelerate feature race for 2023 is going to get underway. David Mocek on your pole position, Lucas Müller in to the left hand side of him, Mocek on the outside coming towards turn 1, Müller sends it in there, Simmer Simicic around the outside is going to be coming to try and take second place away from him. Muller keeps it up the inside for third place. Aggressive racing here at the start in London.
Yeah, indeed. So Simicic just about keeping his nose ahead. I think he might just be able to get it. They're still side by side going down and now into the chicane, and they're so close to contact between the two of them as they emerge. Still in front, Simicic has worked his way into second place. Lucas Muller losing the front row down to third, and that is racing. 7th now going through the chicane at turn 12 and 13. You can see side by side there Muller maybe with a little bit of damage onto the front end of his Neon McLaren. I think he might actually have a little bit onto that front end.
Wow, what a hectic start here in London, side by side. We've got Jacob Reed there and Risto Kappet going side by side into turn 16, but they work their way through in your...
Because the last thing you want is to be sprinting off to the stewards in the 5 minutes after the race. You want to make the most of the on-track action, and you don't want to be driving with that side by side. Actually, Muller going for it into turn 1. Isaac Gillison still sideways. Lee and Muller's down to 9th.
Muller's gone for a spin somewhere. Muller must have made contact at turn 1, yeah, done a pirouette. He's dropped back behind Lee, Biancalilla, Kappet and Reed. All those drivers getting past. A nightmare race for Muller.
Absolutely, and the one that matters most, essentially for Muller, just missing out on pole position and losing out on those 6 points, and now down to 9th. It's heartbreak for the German, who was wanting to add this to his tally, but unfortunately he's stuck at the back end of this train without a front wing, and surely a damaged morale. We talk about time and time again, no matter what broadcast we're on cam, the mentality side of things is so vital, and Muller surely is down in the dumps.
They're putting as the drivers obviously work their way through the race, the tension builds up. And when you start having a little bit of context like that, you go, oh, there goes Gillison out of the penultimate corner. He must have spun up the rear tyres, and he's dropping down the way. This gives Brendan Lee 4th place, Biancalilla 5th, and Gillison, after holding on for over half this race, lap 18 was his the one that came, he became unstuck, and unfortunately has dropped down to 19th place. And along with Muller, he joins another driver to lose wings here.
Oh wow, that is huge for Gillison, but a long time coming, it must be said. Those tyres were struggling, and it's the difference in driving from the charge to the main race is that you've got to be so careful. You've got to nurse the tyres, and it's not easy in Formula E machinery, particularly the Gen 3, because as we've said, they've not got intricate wings both on the front and on the rear. I mean, that rear wing is almost non-existent, which gives the rear tyres near enough no help.
No way.
Oh, no way.
No way.
Again.
Brendan Lee for the 4th time in 4 laps or 5 laps is unfortunately this time loses his place, but he takes that attack mode, so that at least twice he missed the zone, which shows you how difficult it is. Biancalilla gets up into 4th place, and with just 1 lap to go, this could be crucial, because did Lee miss it again, he might have to take it on this last lap, which means Kappet could be looking at 5th place as we come to start the final lap here of Formula E Accelerate 2023.
Don't look out. I mean, look out for Muller as well. I mean, keep him in the loop, because if Lee does have to take it again, maybe he took them, in succession, did one, straight away did the other, but now he's got the hard work. He's got to use that extra power to find a way past Biancalilla. We've got, what they're now through turn 4, so, 18 corners left of this race to go, not long left, and a whole heap of action left to come.
And I tell you what that does on the points as well. I'm pretty sure that puts Biancalilla up into 2nd place for the race here today over the 2 races at London. Amazing stuff. Brendan Lee down the inside towards the hairpin, side by side. He spins, he loses his front wing. Kappet and Muller come through, and that is heartbreak for Brendan Lee. He knew that was his last opportunity.
He knew he had to do it. Again, it's better to fail trying than to not try at all, but in through the final couple of corners now, David Mrocek, he's arrived here in London Cam, and he is going to take the victory.
David Mrocek across the line in his Tag Heuer Porsche livery will take victory at the LondonEPrix for the Formula E Accelerate 2023, and with it the prize money as well. He's going to be absolutely loving that one. Contact in the hairpin on the final lap as well between Lee and Reed, but across the line in 2nd place will be Simicic and Burlak to round out your podium. And into the final corner, Biancalilla will be taking that 4th place, and I think he's going to be 2nd on the night overall, so he's had a great result along with Risto Kappet in 5th, Lucas Muller in 6th.
Consistency. That was everything. As we see a last lap battle here, Isaac Gillison versus Martin Mergley, who is going to get himself into the top 10, get a couple of points to his name. Isaac Gillison really falling off towards the end of that race, but huge stuff from both David Mrocek, both Manuel Biancalilla. Huge races for them, and a great result in terms of the championship.
We have the results in. The podium positions have been finalised, and after some amazing racing here today in both of the races. We have the final results. Second is Risto Kappet. Congratulations, Risto. Come up onto the podium, please. We're struggling to keep control of our esports drivers today. Risto. Risto. Here he is. There you go, Risto. Congratulations. Risto, if you could just come here for a quick interview, that'd be fantastic. So, very good. Second position. How does that feel?
Much better than I expected. I mean, this is amazing. I am a big fan of Formula E. Actually, I've been trying to get to this competition for a while, so this came quite as a big surprise. I mean, the points for the sprint race were much bigger than I anticipated, and winning that, I was just at the right place at the right moment, and then I hanged on in the main race, didn't put it in the wall, which is not easy to do. So, yeah, and that's the reward. So I have to be in it to win it sometimes. I got lucky. I was definitely not the second fastest driver, but very happy.
Well, I don't believe there's any luck in sim racing. The precision was there. You didn't make any mistakes. How did you manage to stay so focused during such a long event?
Well, I didn't throughout. I mean, in qualifying, I did crash. There's speakers right next to you. You can hear the commentator saying. You can see the real Formula E from the TV. You can see your own race from the TV. So you are not really 100% focused, but eventually, yeah, you remember all your marks from practice. And we were for sure slower than we would be at home, but you just do your best, and it worked out.
Fantastic, Risto. Congratulations. Excellent result. Excellent driving today. Okay, I think we can all agree that that was an incredibly exciting event. Let's head up to the casters to get their final thoughts.
And what a championship that was over the course of the 3 races. Of course, we started in Berlin back in April, went to Rome a few weeks ago, and now we've had the final. We know the champions, of course, Maricek winning just what do you think of that, Zach?
It's insane. I mean, again, it just goes to show the unpredictability of a format like this. I mean, yes, David is so quick, but he even said himself that he was surprised to be so on the pace, and it just shows that if you can arrive and you can be switched on at a LAN event, you can bring the results. He dominated that main race. Yes, he didn't get any points in the charge race, but it didn't matter at all because his sheer domination in that main race gave him the points that he needed, and well, now he walks away 4.5k richer.
It definitely just shows you how interesting Formula E racing can be, so enjoy the main races just coming up, and from myself, Cameron and Zach, will hand it back down for the final time to Scott.
Thank you guys, appreciate it. Now we come to the end of the day, and I think we can all agree we saw some fantastic on-track racing today. So thank you to Formula E, thank you to all the esports drivers for joining us today, and thank you for having me as your host today on this stream. Cheers, and we'll see you next time.